started.
Yes.
Just bear with us while we hit record on all of our recording devices. Okay, so welcome to Dress Up Disasters Presents a Cosplay Horror Story panel. If you guys are under 18, congratulations on lying. Now, before we get started, I have a few disclaimers and then a little introduction on exactly what the fuck dress-up disasters are.
Yeah.
So, a little disclaimer, as I said before, this is an 18-plus panel. There will probably be language here that will not be appropriate for all audiences. That being said, our stories necessarily aren't super inappropriate, but we do have an audience participation segment at the end, assuming we go through everything in a timely manner. So you in the audience, if you have any fun stories, you can come up and tell them and we can cringe and laugh and go, oh dear. So keep those in mind and we'll be able to have you guys come up and speak into the holy corner microphone here. Also, as I said before, this is being recorded to hopefully be posted online as a Dress Up Disasters podcast episode. If you don't want it broadcast to the internet, do not shout it, do not recite it, or otherwise heckle it at us, while others are trying to tell their probably embarrassing story. Because, we're already embarrassed enough when, a little Timmy over here decided to go 24 hours without sleep and did some questionable things. So again, what the fuck is the Dress Up Disasters? The Dress Up Disasters is a brand new cosplay and convention related podcast hosted by yours truly. I'm Circut. This is Alycas. And we're here to reminisce in what cons were a decade ago when we started cosplaying, be excited about what they are now, and laugh about those mishaps that happen to those in this wonderfully creative hobby we all share. As I like to say sometimes, those who said the life of a cosplayer is glamorous has never lived the life of a cosplayer. So we're here to prove that tonight. So to get us started, our Circuit and Alycas' important lesson in footwear.
So, as you can see from this image, the shoes look a little wonky, and that is because they disintegrated on me. So, KatsuCon 2023, I dressed up as Sailor Saturn. Neptune. I know what character I cosplayed. And this was only the second time I'd ever worn these shoes. These were like cosplay shoes that I had bought with my costume. And I put them on day of, and it started, like when the shoe peels and it starts talking to you, and I was like, this is going to be a mistake, but we're gonna power through and we're gonna wear these shoes because I bought them. I am gonna get my money's worth out of it. And I had like a big, huge shoot with like the entire Sailor Moon cast of all of the Sailor Senshis, and we had a villain, so it was like 10 of us. It was huge.
It was pretty sick.
And I was like, I will have these shoes in these photos. Like, I will do it. By the time we got to the shoot, which I had been wearing the shoes for 2 hours, the entire bottom of the shoe was gone. So what I am standing on is the shoe. It's not attached to the shoe. And the pleather was like falling off. So
you can actually see it.
You can see it, and like it's ripping around my toes. So like the fronts are falling off, the bottoms are not attached to the shoes. So this is like a lesson in like buying cosplay shoes. Don't.
And as the title of this slide says, it's not just Alycas who learned an important lesson in footwear, because this was me, February of 2022 at Fan Expo Vancouver. I'll let that settle in. So of course, I've been doing this a very long time. So I have things in my collection of cosplay goods that are quite old. These shoes I got for a Rose Tyler cosplay back in, I want to say 2015.
Right.
And I unfortunately did not know that there's a reason people will regularly wear shoes in their collection, especially if they're pleather, because I didn't realize that pleather disintegrates if it's kept in storage too long. So I got 2 steps out of my hotel room, which to those Vancouver locals here might know the Rosedale on Robson Hotel, kind of like 20-minute walk, kind of that way.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I am walking, and I like slip, but I don't slip on anything.
Oh.
It's the sole of the shoe coming off. Oh. So at this point, I have one full intact shoe and one sock, if you will. Because it wasn't just the top of the shoe, my bare foot, it was kind of still had a cover to it. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, we'll get some shoe goo on the way, like a drugstore, and we'll be fine. I take another step, and my toes bust out the other shoe. At this point, this photo is taken. So I'm like, okay, thankfully I have backup shoes. So we head back to the hotel. Another 2 steps, and the toes bust out the other shoe. To the point where I am walking down Granville Street in the rain, completely barefoot, dressed as Rapunzel from Disney's Tangled.
Just canon footwear.
Exactly. Exactly. It might not be canon methods, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to be canon in these streets, quite literally. And as I mentioned before, we have memes. So I have personally crafted memes to go along with all of our stories, which we'll be sharing with you at the end of our stories, because memes are context. So here we are. Shoes falling apart at the con. Circuit and Alycas. And then next, the story is all yours, buddy.
Oh man.
What?
Okay, so I have been cosplaying for quite some time. So this was back in ye olde 2017. I was doing Merida from Brave, and I had like the full white dress underneath of my like oh my god, what's it called?
The overdress?
The overdress. So you can see the white dress, and then I have like the velvet on over top. I, for those squeamish, got my period during the convention.
APAC cosplayers know the struggle.
And this is at a con in the summer in Phoenix, Arizona. So it's really hot, and I just thought maybe the pain I'm feeling is just from the heat. So I continued my day and was like, you know, it's a little weird that I'm in pain and a little grouchy, but you know, it's hot, it's fine. Everything is fine. Everything was not fine. A couple hours, I used the bathroom, and much to my chagrin, the entire inside of the white dress is covered in blood. Like, I could not salvage this dress covered in blood. This was also a con that we were driving an hour and a half to, so I had to stay at, yeah, you didn't know that. I had to stay at the con for another 5 hours with a fully bloody underdress and just continue my day because our ride was coming to pick us up. Like we weren't able to just leave, so I was just there disgusting. That was fun.
And meantime, and now the next one is all mine.
Yeah, there we go.
So, if those of you who went to Fan Expo Vancouver a few months back and watched the cosplay competition, you might have seen a Molly Mark cosplayer in the cosplay competition with this very embroidered dress. That was me. And about 3 or 4 weeks before said convention, I'm almost done the embroidery. I need to line it like it's almost finished. And at the time, I've been working on it at my partner's house and everything. And I have a shoot. And I have a big special effects kit because I'm a licensed makeup artist. Fancy. And so when I had a friend who was also going to that shoot be like, hey, yo, you have a collection of fake bloods. Can I borrow it, please? And I go, yeah, sure. Just be sure to seal the bloods after. I'm sure you know where this is going. Because something I learned in special effects school is blood, no matter how you think it's sealed, is never sealed enough. So I had the twist cap, I had it in a bag, which was in another bag in the kit. Except I was on a rush home. I didn't think to check how it was sealed when we were done. So I was on my way to my house at the time, which I wasn't living with my girlfriend at the time, which I am now, so this hopefully won't happen again. I'm taken to my girlfriend's house so I can grab my coat so I can finish working on it at home, and I throw everything in the bag.
Oh no, God.
A 45-minute drive later to my lovely hometown where I was living, I put the bag on the door, on the bench on the outside, and a couple minutes later it falls over. I'm like, hey, I'll deal with that later. And it falls over, and I notice a drop of red on the floor. And I go, that wasn't there before. So, and then I realize, the blood is in the bag. Molly Mock is in the bag. They're both in the bag.
This is a costume that she spent 2 years working on and embroidering, by the way.
Yeah. So I open the bag, and I shouldn't say I open the bag. I look at my mom and I go, can you please open the bag? Because if I see what's in the bag, I think I'm gonna break down. She opens the bag. She looks at me with the most sorrowful look on her face. And I go, oh no. And she pulls out the coat. Oh yeah. Yep, in the beads, in the embroidery floss, in the fabric. But you know, I'm a mess. I'm like, I'm never gonna talk to this friend again. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. This is sabotage. Of course, it's not my friend's fault. You know, they didn't know how tricky blood could be, but I wasn't feeling that gracious at the time. And I'm like, I can't deal with this. Because I'm scrubbing in the sink and I'm crying, and it's a very pitiful sight.
And it wasn't coming out.
No, it wasn't coming out from what I could do. And so my mom, my lovely mom, who's sitting in the front row here, looked up how to get rid of the fake bloodstains in fabric and managed to wash it out for me, so I was able to compete 3 weeks later. And of course, so everyone, the game on.
The real hero.
And meantime, this is also the first time my mom's seeing any of these memes. I feel like that's important to share. And now,
We looked hard for like the perfect meme for this one.
oh, I spent a good couple minutes trying to find the right template for this one, and this one popped out, and we were both.
Yeah, we were both like, that's the one
This
right
is
there.
one and of course, for all the audio listeners, when this is posted as a podcast, we will be posting all of these memes to our Instagram page as a carousel, so you'll be able to see all the memes, and of course, with the context, you'll be able to figure out what meme belongs to what stories and all that fun stuff. But anyways, the next story.
Oh,
I don't know why
yes.
the transition didn't work.
The transition didn't work, but that's fine. So, once again, Phoenix Comic-Con, as it was called at the time, 2027. That's 200 years in the future. I'll be at a con.
Please don't
I'll
make
still
no
be
one that I
doing
spelled
this.
Phoenix wrong. I just noticed it right now.
That's not funny.
It's another con horror story.
We're making stories here, lads. So it's 2020.
It's not the 20s yet.
It's 2017. Once again, and it's Thursday of the con, so this is a 4-day con. And this is a really big convention for the like Southwest. So like that year, I believe like it was between 50 to 70,000 people attended this convention, and a lot of people. And I remember walking, you know, into the main lobby area. So this is a convention that happens over 2 buildings with a sky bridge between the 2 buildings. They shut down an entire street for it. Like it is a thing. And I remember walking into the big lobby and there's like a bunch of people. And this is also like the first convention that I took my boyfriend to. And so like we're standing in the lobby, and me and my friends, and then we look over and there is this Punisher cosplayer. And I'm like, that looks like a really, really real shotgun.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, let's go to the other building. And turns out this Punisher cosplayer was not all there, as it were. And he had the intention and posted this on Facebook that he was going to kill the Green Ranger, who was a guest at the
Otherwise known
convention.
as Jason David Frank, for
Yes.
those of you who can't read the text on the little flag.
And he had brought a shotgun 2 loaded handguns, and about 7 real knives with him with the intention to kill the Green Ranger. And luckily they found him and like got him out of there, but I saw him in the lobby like about an hour before everything went down. Like the police showed up, it almost shut down the entire convention. Like they now have some of the most intense security I have ever been to at a con because of this guy. You get patted down and you get a wand and you walk through like metal detectors now for this con. And for that year on the Friday, because they had to implement security because this guy was insane a little bit. And so the lines were about 4 hours long to get inside, and this is Phoenix in May. It was about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, which is almost 50 degrees Celsius. It was very hot. There were people that passed out from heat exhaustion. There were like ambulance, people went to the hospital. It was bad. It was very bad. So that is a true horror story.
That really was a story.
But luckily, no one was actually hurt. I will preface with no one was actually hurt, but it was definitely scary. So there's no funny thing to end with that. It's just it sucked.
Can I quickly get a show of hands of those who attended Anime Revolution 2019? All right. Can you keep your hand raised for me if you came across a Naruto cosplayer that weekend? Can you keep them raised if he asked you to kick him in the nards? Yeah, we got you right, buddy! So that's pretty much exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
There was a guy at Anime Revolution 2019 who decided to come to con and ask a bunch of femme-presenting cosplayers to kick him in the nards, no matter who was around and no matter what they were cosplaying. I myself was Rapunzel from Tangled, and he came up to me and asked me to kick him in the nards just over at the torch over there, which was a really fun time because, and it's always the Naruto cosplayers.
As I sit here in Sasuke cosplay.
Not like,
Listen, I didn't ask anyone to kick me in the nards today, so I think I'm winning. That's where the bar is.
and I feel the need to reiterate that it's not people who cosplay from Naruto. It's specifically people who cosplay Naruto. Because there was another year, I think it was 2022, where you were filming the TikTok dance, and this guy was just
Oh, yeah. So
Filming.
we were filming a TikTok, and this Naruto cosplayer
as
just
Tenjin's
comes up
wives.
and just like is filming us filming it, and we were like, can you not? And he was like, no, it's fine, continue. And we're like, no, stop, please. We didn't consent to this. And he's like, it's fine. And we're like, no. Finally, he left. But like, it was so weird because one of our like guard dog friends was like stood in front of him and was like, you can.
It's like, you're
leave
deleting that now.
Yeah.
Especially because this was before AR decided to put preferred names on badges.
I think that was when I was dressed as one of the wives from
Yep,
Tengen.
it's Tengen's
So
wives.
I was in the tiniest
From
little
Demon Slayer.
costume, like tits and ass out. There's not a lot to these costumes, and I'm like, bro, I really don't want my ass in your phone. Thank you.
At least ask me first.
Yeah, literally. Where's my $5?
I got a question.
What's up?
Which wife?
I was Suma.
Let's go.
Yes. Yes.
And meme time. And because con creeps are so special, they get 2 memes. Because I had 2 really good ideas that I couldn't pick one. So I got this one, which is my favorite. And this one, which is a classic template. Because they always find a way back.
Always.
Like, the con could do everything they could, but they'll still come back.
They always find a way.
It's like they have those freaking teleporter pod things from Minecraft or something.
Dude, they just arrive.
And you know
Yes.
the one here coming up, which
Oh,
I
I
think
do?
is one of my personal favorite stories. A crash course in being taken advantage of from Anime Revolution 2022.
Yes, the polearm story. So, it's Anime Revolution 2022, and I was dressed in Genshin cosplay, and a bunch of my friends were all dressed in Genshin cosplay, and we were all coming to the con. And there was somebody that I had literally, before this moment, met once. One time, lads. And we had spoken maybe 3 times. And she comes to the con with...
Wasn't it from the dinner with like 20 other people?
Yes, yeah, that was the only time we'd ever interacted in person, was for like a shoot several months before. And she comes to the con with this huge pole arm that she had made.
It's the staff of Toma from Genshin.
Yeah, it's the staff of Toma, if you know what that one is. And she made it out of, what is it, the clay?
Air dry clay.
Air dry clay. So
Not to be confused with foam clay, which is much lighter. I'm talking like the Crayola air dry clay.
It was really heavy. And so about 25 minutes into like seeing this person again, we're outside, and she goes, hey, I have to go pick up my friend from Granville Island, and this staff won't fit on the train. Can you hold on to this for me? And I was like, sure, I guess, because I'm very nice, and I always say yes to things. And I've learned my lesson. So my boyfriend was with me at the time, and he was very nice and was like, oh, it's one of your friends, so I'll hold on to this. So 30 minutes goes by, and we're still hanging around there, and we were like, okay, I'm trying to, I messaged him, I was like, hey, how long do you think you're gonna be? I don't know how long it is gonna be to get to Granville Island, you know, whatever. And radio silence. Not even left on red, like just didn't even read my message. And I was like, this is fine, you know, it's only been 30 minutes, whatever. An hour and a half later, so we're now having holded on to this for 2 hours, I have heard nothing. Not a peep. Well, that was really, I'm so sorry.
And didn't a few people try reaching out to them as well?
Yeah, so a couple of my friends tried messaging them, like they just were not responding to anyone. And so we went and we're like, okay, well, we're gonna go down the street and get bubble tea. This was before the bubble tea place was in the like food court that's here. So you had to walk about 15 minutes to go get bubble tea because we really, really wanted some. And we, you know, carried this staff. And finally, I just took the staff from my boyfriend because I was like, you do not have to hold this. Actually, I don't know this person, so like, I'll carry it. And we got back to the convention center. We've now had this staff for 3 hours. I finally receive a message. Sorry about that, we got delayed. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So are you coming to get the staff? And she's like, yeah, we're like 30 minutes out. And I'm like, I'm okay, fine. So we stand there and we wait. And she finally arrives like 35, 45 minutes later.
For reference, if you were to transit to where they went in Granville Island, it would take you 35 minutes from here.
That's round trip, by the way. That's max.
That's one way.
Oh, that's one way?
But even
so,
still, that's...
the longest it should have taken them to go pick up their friends was 1 hour and 10 minutes. And they told me initially it was going to be like 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I hand off the staff. And I had mentioned to them, because in the heat, air dry clay like that is very brittle and it breaks apart. And it started cracking. And I was like, be very careful with this, because it is starting to crack and I don't want all of your hard work to be destroyed. So she goes, okay. And we, you know, walk away.
This is where I come in the story.
Yes.
Because I meet up with them at this point, because they were a friend of mine previously. In part because of the story, they are no longer. But anyways, I digress. They take the staff back, and it's like, it's wobbling. It's wobbling. Because the whole base was a wooden dowel covered in this air dry clay that had already cracked the week before, because of course when air dry clay dries, it shrinks, and when it touches around something that isn't valuable, it just cracks. Which they filled the cracks with more air dry clay and covered it in a layer of Mod Podge and called it a day. And the fins of the pole arm were just some craft foam. And as we're walking back, I'm holding out my hands,
We were
waiting
literally
to catch.
thinking it was just going to disintegrate on the pole. We were
Yeah.
being so careful with it because I was like, I will not break this before I give it back.
Yeah. And so I meet back up with them, and they get the pole arm. And you know the stairs immediately outside the exit doors by the little cafe at the outside the convention center here? They put it against the railing.
It shattered, just disintegrated into a tiny little mess.
Me watching this happen in my mind, it's playing in slow motion as the wind just takes it down the slanted railing, which, you know, because gravity apparently is a fucking thing, hits the pavement and shatters. No saving it. It's just doing. They immediately throw a tantrum.
The biggest, just like,
And the friend that they just took 3 hours to go get,
had been at the con for 5 minutes at this point.
they dragged back home, which was a 2-hour drive away.
And that's the polearm story, unfortunately.
And meantime,
Meantime. Moral of the story, just don't dump your props off on people and then disappear for close to 4 hours.
and also another big takeaway, if you post on your story a prop that you're working on that isn't quite working out, and someone reaches out being like, hey, you know, if you want to make this more durable, here's a couple ideas on what you could do, don't just go. Especially if they've been doing it a lot longer than you, because they might know a thing or two about what they're talking about. And now, I think the last story, or well, it's a kind of a concoction of stories over the same weekend. The Hotel from Hell. This, unfortunately, isn't an episode of Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell. It would be much more entertaining if it was. So, Fan Expo this past year, because the hotel prices have gone so astronomically crazy that it's more cost effective for me to go to Portland for a convention than stay at a local hotel, I decided to look around for a deal. And I found a hotel, of which that I had stayed previously for a show, and it was fine. You know, clean room, decent sized room, central to the area, over on, I think, Granville Street. Now, I had been warned about this hotel before by my parents, who admittedly know more about the shitty hotel scene in Vancouver than I do, but I was like, it's fine. I've stayed here before. It'll work out. It's only $200 a night. What could go wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Famous last words.
Exactly, famous last words. So, to start off the weekend, we check in. And we were originally going to have 5 people in our hotel room. It was going to be myself, my mom, my friend, my brother, and his partner. And, you know, that means you need some space. So when we booked the room, we made sure to look at the pictures on hotels.ca, and I was like, you know what? This room has a pull-out couch and 2 double beds. That'll fit us easy. We walk into our hotel room, and the hotel room, I want to say, is about the size of this stage.
Oh, that's being a little generous.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I was con crunching. Like, I brought the sewing machine to the hotel room. I can't con crunch under these conditions. So we go down, and we're like, what the heck, man? We ordered a room, 17 square meters, it shouldn't be hard. And they go, but we did give you, like, the room you booked. It's a superior room. And I'm like, there's nothing superior about this room. So we're like, is there anything you can do, because this is absurd? Either you give us the room you want, because this, at the bottom, even if I wasn't con crunching, my brother isn't. My brother is 6'7" and built like a brick wall.
He large.
We're not fitting 5 people in 2 double beds. Nor would I think I want to get that close to my brother. So they eventually decide to give us this room that they don't book because it's above the nightclub. Which again, that should be another warning as to why I shouldn't have booked this hotel. And it all seems fine. They're like, you know what, we can't really give it to you tonight because it needs to be cleaned, but we'll put your stuff in it in the morning while you're at the whatever you're doing down here. And I'm like, fine, I can live with that. So we go to bed, or we're getting ready for bed at 11 o'clock at night in this dinky little hotel room, which should not have 2 beds in it, but does. It was honestly a feast how they got it in there, because I don't understand how they did it. The math doesn't math. And the alarm goes off, the fire alarm.
Yeah.
With the lights flaring and the sirens going off, and at this point I had pulled an all-nighter, con crunching. So this is my, 50th hour awake.
Ew. Oh.
That's another disaster, but I digress. So we go downstairs, and we're like, okay, hopefully the hotel doesn't burn down because I have a lot of work upstairs that I will cry if it's damaged. And it turns out that someone in the downstairs nightclub, pulled the fire alarm, just cause.
It was being cleared out, and so like when they clear it out, some asshole usually ends up pulling the fire alarm to be funny.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, fine. Like this has been a real shit day. I'm excited to get it over with, excited for con, it's gonna be a good time. So the next day happens, and it's seemingly fine. Until that night, when we're back at the hotel. In which we're in the new room, the room that we originally had booked and paid for. And I'm working away on my costume, and my friend's cleaning up from con, and all of a sudden I hear, hello? From my friend. And I look around. Everyone who's supposed to be in the hotel room is already in the hotel room. Who are they saying hello to? So I go over and I open the door. And there's this very, very intoxicated gentleman roaming around the halls. Because I discovered that he just opened the door to our hotel room. The door that was supposed to be key open only. And I go, oh, great. So I go, excuse me, can I help you, sir? And he mumbles something rather incoherent. And he goes, something along the lines of, I don't know where I am. And I'm like, you're in a hotel, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, and you don't have a room in a hotel? And he goes, no. And I go, so the first thing you do is you start opening random hotel room doors? And he goes, At this point, my mother's already on the phone at the front desk, being like, hey, what the fuck? So eventually he goes away, and I continue working. 3 a.m. rolls around. The fire alarm goes off yet again, folks. This time at 3 in the morning. Well, we're already asleep. There was a collective... You know when people say, when you get close enough to people, you can, tell what they're thinking? It was like a hive mind moment where we're like, is it worth the risk? Yeah, right. And if it wasn't for the fact that the fire alarm at this hotel was accessible to the deaf with the flashing lights, we probably would have stayed. I know, I would have risked it. So we go downstairs, very begrudgingly in our pajamas and various state of chivalry.
This is January, or February.
Yeah, February, Fan Expo again.
Yeah, it's cold outside.
On Granville Street.
Oh.
Yikes.
And not like the relatively nice side of Granville Street, it's like the kind of sketchy side. Like the weird purgatory of the sketchy side of Granville Street and the nice side of Granville Street. It's the weird in between there, by the 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
you know that hotel I'm talking about. Only to find out that someone else got drunk and pulled the fire alarm because they were ushering people out. Woo. To this day, every time I'm downtown and I pass the Hotel Belmont, I flip it off. And it heals a part of my soul that was damaged that weekend.
I want you to know that that same weekend, I was on the other side of the country.
Continent?
The other side of the country, other side of the continent, at KatsuCon, where on Friday evening, so the
one night where I didn't have a fire alarm go off.
I did. So I had, because it's KatsuCon, it's a party con, I day drank. You day drink at KatsuCon, okay, lads? And so it was the end of the evening. It's like 11 o'clock at night. We roll back to the hotel, because I'm going to be 30 next year. And I was like, I'm going to bed, actually. And my friend, who was also, at that point, 30, was like, I'm also going to bed. And so she takes a shower. I get into, my pajamas, which consists of, a t-shirt and booty shorts, by the way. This is important.
It's Katsu.
And this is also January. So the fire alarm starts going off. And we're both in the hotel room like, what? And so this is also in the United States. So I am not just leaving, I'm grabbing my bag and my passport because I'm not getting stuck in this country because the hotel burnt down. So I put on a sweater, I put on my shoes, because I'm also not going to go stand on the pavement in January in DC, where it's like 0 degrees Celsius. It was cold. And I put on my sweater and we go outside, and my friend had just had a shower. So she's got wet hair. One of the people in front of us had literally the tiniest little cropped sweater on and a thong. It's katsu, okay? People, you're gonna see things, okay?
You get slutty at Katsu.
You get slutty at katsu, okay? It's how it be. And so, everybody's out here in different levels of disheveled dress. We're looking at the hotel and we're like, okay, it's not on fire. The fire truck is not here. What happened? So, this was the Hyatt, about a 5-minute walk down from the Gaylord. So it's not the actual con hotel. Someone on the 6th floor had decided to put a Pop-Tart into the microwave with the rest? No, for 10 minutes instead of 1. And it set off the fire alarm. I've seen pictures of the Pop-Tart. It was black.
If any of you follow the Con Crunch on Instagram, they posted many a meme about the incident. They're probably still up if you want to look at them. They're all beautiful.
It was so funny, and it became the meme of the con that somebody burnt a Pop-Tart, and it was cold, and I just wanted to go to bed. And it was funny though. It was funny.
Meme time for the Hotel from Hell. Again, because there was a couple parts of the story, there are 2 memes.
Wow.
For those who can't read in the back, the button options are go home and open random hotel room doors. And now, that's all the stories that we personally have prepared. So now, you know what time it is.
Give us your story, lads. Who's brave
So-
enough?
So basically, how we're going to do this is we're going to have you guys line up towards this corner of the stage where this microphone is pointing towards the door. And you're going to recite your stories. Preferably keeping it shorter rather than longer, just so we can get through as many people as we can. But other than that, have to it. And if for some reason everyone is shy, we do have more stories we can tell.
I do have some fun ones.
I started this in 2013.
I started cosplaying in the very beginning of 2015. I have stories.
We do have some stories. So feel free to take your stories and line up right here. If you got stories to tell, don't be shy. Yeah, don't be shy.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Here you go.
There we go.
Everyone looks for good audience participation.
Yep.
Hi.
You can move it up towards you.
I'm tall.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Annetta Cosplays. I don't think I've told you guys this one. It's not really it's not really a good one, but it happened at my first ever AR, so I was 17.
Oh.
And I was dressed as Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, who is a demon, and I was just walking through con, little baby cosplayer. And this guy dressed as Tom from Star vs. the Forces of Evil comes up to me, and if you don't know who that is also a demon, so we're both dressed as demons. And he just comes up to me, and he starts trying to pick a fight with me, and I know it's supposed to be, he's trying to be in character and funny, but he's yelling at me let's fucking go. Who's the more powerful demon? It's me, I'll put you in the ground. And I was like, oh shit, please. Please leave me alone. And I didn't know what to say. My reaction when shit like that happens is to just kind of ignore it. So I just kind of back away without really saying anything. I was like, haha. Anyway, and I run away. And the rave was that night. So later I'm at the rave, and I see this guy again. He's shirtless now.
Are you still dressed as Bill Cipher?
Yes. And he's dressed as Tom, but he's shirtless now. And the AniRevo raves are dry, right? But he seemed like he was pre-gaming a little bit. And he sees me again, and he's like, Bill Cipher, as if we're friends now. And he comes up to me and just bear hugs me so hard, and he is dripping wet. And I run fast and far.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
This is why you always ask for people's ages. God. Or to touch people.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I thought it was bad enough when the first weekend we met, you headbutted me with your sweaty forehead right in the kisses.
Yeah, the moral of that is just like, don't be weird and hug people that you don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what
thank you.
Thank you. All right, come on up.
Oh no! I have twisted my ankle minorly at this con before. Anyway, this is like about the worst streak of bad luck I've ever had at a con. So, this was pre-pandemic, so I was very much a kid in high school or whatever. And I went to the con with my friend. It was his birthday. And it was just about to be the worst series of misfortunes ever. So the first thing that happened is he forgot part of this cosplay. Okay, we go to Fabricland, we quickly like fix up whatever needs to be done. We bought like fur and then red spray paint to put blood all over it. And I was a budding TikToker at the time. So while I was waiting in the Airbnb for him and his mom to get everything sorted, I decided to use the spray can as something to hold my phone up.
I don't like where this is going.
I really hope I'm wrong about where this story ends.
You are not wrong. The spray can topples over. There's red paint all over the Airbnb, all over his dad's pants. We're like 3 hours late to the con, and luckily we got most of it off the Airbnb. I hope they never find out what happened.
I'm so sorry this episode's going online.
I cried.
Fair enough.
And then the con, it was rainy, so that's okay, but just to add a little spice, I guess. At his birthday dinner, I dropped a whole sugary soda all over his lap. I'm just silly like that. That sucks. But the thing that really is the cherry on top is driving home. A huge bird slams into the windshield of the Jeep and completely cracks it. So yeah, that was really cursed.
Fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your...
Hello.
Okay, I actually have a story pertaining to this wig that I'm wearing right now. So I actually didn't get this wig as part of like the initial like build for like the cosplay because I am an amateur.
Fair enough.
I do not. I have no sewing skills
Hey, we all
whatsoever.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
I end up ordering a wig from one of those from like AliExpress, obviously. And I am waiting for the wig, and it says, and I'm just expecting to get like the notification that very soon that it's going to arrive. And it gets up to about a week before the con, and this is already like 2 weeks after it was supposed to arrive. By this point, I'm very busy because hate to plug this now, but if you were at my panel, you would know that I am a PhD student, and I'm just very busy.
Good luck.
So thank you. But yeah, no, I am just looking. Sorry, I'm just trying to see like if this wig has arrived yet, and I get the notice that it was delivered. But here's the thing: I actually reside in an apartment where like the bottom floor is completely unmanned, and the only area where like you can put like packages larger than like what'll go into the mailbox is basically on the floor under the mailboxes. So yeah, I don't fully internalize this at this point yet. I actually go around like half the doors of the apartment knocking and be like, hey, did you happen to pick up a package that the best conclusion I have is that some Porsche pirate took it, which
Hopefully they enjoy the wig.
yeah, hopefully.
It's always so
Who
funny
knows?
to me, Porsche pirates stealing cosplay supplies. What are you gonna do? with 8,000 rhinestones, buddy.
No, literally.
Exactly. Yeah, so, and again, this is like a week before the con. It is impossible at this point to get a new delivery. So like, I just like kind of vent this out in one of like the Discord servers where everybody is congregating, and yeah, and thank God, like there are like actual experts in there, because one of them is like, hey, we can probably try to fashion a wig for you based on what's available at the con that day. And luckily I had already like got like, well, not really a backup, but like a previous cosplay that, you know, I could employ for like the first day. So yeah, I do, and get all the cosplay supply again. And I go to the con, do visit the vendor that they say has the wigs, and yeah, long story short, they gave me the supplies. I passed them off to my friend, and my friend made this wig.
That's good.
So yeah,
Upside. Silver linings.
yeah.
Thank you.
I do think that because we have 15 minutes left, I think we're going to keep the line as it is.
Yeah.
If you, however, have horror stories you still want to let us know, so we can, you know, be empathetic towards you or feel solidarity, feel free to message it to us or meet up with us outside of the panel room when we're done packing up and all that fun stuff. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, friend. Hi, I'm the homeless pigeon, and so it was my first ever guest gig at the Otafest after party this past year, and I was wearing Kirito, and you know, it's the after party, so they're playing music and stuff like that, and then I hear the SEO opening songs, Across the Field comes on, so I'm wearing Kirito, and everyone's like, yo, go dance, go dance! I go and dance, and like I do a little break dance thing, and it's fine, like, hey, cool, I'm gonna go to the washroom. I go to the washroom, I take off the coats to hang it up, and you know, I'm doing my business. And then I hear this whistle behind me, and the guy was like, oh man, I see how it is, you're inviting me. I'm like, what? Oh. He's like, check your pants. I'm like, okay, so I check my pants, and I ripped it right up the backside. The best part about this is that, you know, when I'm wearing the Kirito jacket, they can't see that.
That's good. That's good. Silver linings.
Silver lining,
We love a good
I
building fail
left
safe.
right away.
I
Because
would also.
the guy would follow me around and be like, hey, I'm like, no. So, lesson learned, don't break dance in cosplay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello. You can move it down.
Yeah.
Like it just like this. Yeah.
Hello, I've been cosplaying for a while. The second time I ever cosplayed, I was in middle school, and I wasn't fully confident in my sewing skills, and I was cosplaying Sasha from AOT.
Bro, I did that in middle school too.
It's a canon event.
Yeah.
So when I like had a coat that I thrifted that was the correct color, and what I did was I printed out the like wings design on like transfer paper, and then I like ironed it onto some white fabric because that stuff is not opaque. You cannot iron that directly to the
Butter?
yeah. So what I did is I ironed it onto some white t-shirt fabric, and then I hot glued it on.
Oh.
Day of the con. It's hot. It's sweaty. It's kind of stinky. I wish people wore a little bit more deodorant. It starts peeling and peeling off a little bit. It was very tragic. People around me are going, your icon is falling off. Your icon is falling off. I'm like, I know. I can't do anything about it though. I didn't bring my hot glue gun.
Oh no.
So it just continues to peel until about like 3 hours into the con, everything falls off, and I just stuff it in my bag. Luckily though, true to character, I brought baked potatoes.
Very nice.
So I just ate those in the corner. And I actually have another story where I accidentally flashed someone. Is it okay?
We do have very limited time.
Yeah, there's only 9
so,
minutes left.
Unfortunately.
But later. I'm curious. I want to hear this. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell your audience about my blunder.
Yes.
Not to repeat it.
Because this is going to be like a series that we do. On
Yeah,
our,
we do
on
want to
our,
bring this to other
podcast,
cons
so.
and hopefully here again in the future.
Yes.
The next con we're hoping to bring this to, we haven't been approved yet, is KomoriCon down in Portland.
Very nice. The con where I disintegrated my shoes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Okay. So this is a story of when I was 6 years old and I had first come to Canada and I had heard of cosplaying. And now I had only heard of cosplaying around Halloween time, which was normally when people would dress up and go out and trick or treat. And so this was my very first time participating. So I dressed up in a cute little Harry Potter costume.
Aww.
My mom had drawn me on a scar.
Aww.
It was really great. And so it had come time for my parents to dress up because there was an event at our school. And so my mom came out and she was this witch and it was really cool. And I was like, oh wow, cool. My dad comes out and I peed myself.
That is not where I thought this story was going.
I peed myself. Because I was so scared of my father in that moment because he was wearing a ghost mask. And to top it off, he did not just have a prop knife, he had a bloody prop knife. So I had to go get changed into the secondary outfit, so I was like, okay, cool, still Harry Potter, we're good. He came back and I peed myself again. And it was so sad. And he could not wear the mask around me at all. Like, it was just a no-go. But it gets worse. Because I then went to school with my parents. Of course, my dad did not put on that mask because I was not going to make that car ride without soiling myself.
Yeah.
So I take this car ride, we're going to school, and then I go in, we're having a blast, we're coming out because we just watched like movie and ate like a bunch of food and it was just ridiculous, and me and my best friend at the time are both coming out. And so we're just walking home because my house is not that far and his dad was over at my house already. And so I walk up, I ring the doorbell, my mom answers, she opens the door, and my dad didn't put on the mask, which was great. Only problem is, he didn't put it on the correct way. He put it on backwards, so he had it on the back of his head. While he was talking to my best friend's dad, while the mask was facing me, with a bloody knife in his hand. Worst part,
Of course, it was not 2020 on that one.
worst part, he raised the knife because they had just watched a horror movie and he was recreating the scene. But I'm seeing this guy raising a bloody knife in the air, looking at me. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. I made it to the washroom. I'm so proud of myself. One problem. I'm a sleepwalker.
Oh no.
So the very same night, I got up
Oh no.
and I went to the corridor and I opened my closet door and I peed in it. And my dad woke up in the middle of the night, found me just freshly just
Going at it.
covered everything, his brand new toolkit. And I just walked my way to bed and he was like, okay, I gotta clean this up. Best part about it, when he checked me to like clean me up and then everything, because you know, like, he doesn't want me going to sleep wet, I was dry. I was really dry. And he like tried to wake me up and he was like, hey, you good? And I looked at him, like I turned, I opened my eyes, I'm like, yeah, and I went back to sleep. Best part, I knew I peed. I didn't say anything. So that was the time I made my dad very angry.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna remember that forever.
Yeah, that's gonna be a core memory.
All right, we got 5 minutes. so we're gonna speed round this.
Okay. Question. Should I tell the contact story or the wig story?
Contacts.
Contacts.
Contact safety, folks.
So I think this was 2 years ago, Fan Expo. So 20.
No, that would be 2021.
2021, yeah. So I was cosplaying as Jinx.
I know where this is going.
So I brought my pink contacts, and I usually clean them with the little contact cleaner you get, and then you rinse them off and you put them in the proper contact solution. I didn't do that.
Oh.
I accidentally put the cleaning solution that has hydrogen peroxide on it in my contact case.
Yeah.
And tried to put them in my eyes because I didn't realize I did that until the day.
Yeah.
No wonder you need glasses.
And the whole day I'm like, I'm fine. My eyes are burning. Everybody's like, you need contact solution or take those out right now.
Girl.
Yeah. I remember when you told me, and I was like, girl.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, make sure you know. I guess moral of
Check the labels.
story. Check the labels. Don't put them right next to each other.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. All right, last story. of the night.
Sorry. This is actually another pants ripping story. You actually bought Demon Slayer costumes from AliExpress. Those pants, you can't move. You can't even move, and then you can't squat. You can't bend over or anything. You
Can't do shit in those pants.
You can't do shit in those pants.
You can't shit in those pants.
So I thought it was a good idea. Halloween I thought it was a good idea to wear it for work. And I work in a clothing store, so we do all sorts of things. We move, we bend over, we whatever. And then, oh god, and then I was doing it for a while, and then I only realized that it was ripped when I was using the washroom.
No.
Oh yeah. So the story, don't buy those Demon Slayer costumes from AliExpress, just make your own pants.
They're just cosplay pants in general. They're never size correct. They're never for people with a thick dump truck.
If you have a dump
Ever.
truck or if you have hips, cosplay pants are not for you. I'm gonna be living proof of that on Sunday.
Yes.
I'm wearing cosplay pants, and it's gonna be. It's a good thing I'm wearing a Kate Lads because I may rip it. We may have a story for the next one.
Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you for coming.
I did, if you saw, post our QR code that has links to our podcast, our social medias, and everything.
Please do listen to it. We're really cool and
we're
so
we're
funny.
brand new. This is gonna be the 3rd episode, folks.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting an exclusive.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm Circuit. This is Cass, and I hope you have a good con.